really sorry kung medyo low quality siya. Hanggang ngayon, inaayos pa rin namin mga teachers na makapag-start up kami ng recording ulit in Google Meet. In Google Meet. Sa ngayon, pagtsagaan nyo muna na somewhat squished yung screen. At least naman naririnig nyo ako. I-full screen nyo na lang or i-theater mode. Taasan ng quality para makita yung full na lecture ko in a whole. Kasi right now kasi kailangan talaga straight up nagre-record eh. So I'm sorry kung pangit ng konti yung aking resolution. I'll try to improve it later on. Okay. Now that all of that is out of the way, let's get started with the lesson for today. At tatapusin muna natin siya. We have finished in the importance of media and information literacy. Bakit na ba siya importante? I think we are already done with the literacy. Ito kasi yung importansya ng paggamit and pag-continuously learn. We need to learn and learn and learn and learn. Kapag kayo ay nag-stop ng learning, kapag nawala ang drive ninyo mag-learn, you will become stagnant. Your skills will plateau. And hindi na kayo further mag-i-improve. It's now just a straight line. Ang malala kung straight line, buti pa yon. Pero pag ang straight line nyo is slowly nagda-downwards because of your lack of literacy and your lack of will to learn, it will now start to have a downward So always strive to learn and learn and learn. Once again, ang importance of literacy is for you to have higher self-esteem. Of course, you are proud of yourself. You have confidence in your skills, confidence in your ability, higher self-esteem yon. You have better health because you rarely stress yourself. Hindi nyo pinupush yung sarili nyo at alam ninyo kung ano yung mga masama at hindi. Hindi kayo nagbibisyo. Hindi kayo naggagawa ng alam nyong makakasama sa inyo. Makakasama sa mga kaibigan at sa mga kalapit sa inyo. More learning equals more jobs. And better jobs equals higher wages. Next. Why is media literacy important? Bakit na ba natin kailangan ito, media literacy? Because everywhere we look, meron ng media. Sobrang dami na natin sources. Beyond just the TV, the radio, the newspapers, the magazines. Everywhere we look, everywhere we observe, meron kayong may encounter na media. Even if you go to the province, kahit kayo ay mag-go to the province, mayroon kayo pa rin may encounter na media in some way, shape, or form. Dyaryo, radyo, TV, may encounter ninyo sila. Kaya kailangan ng media literacy, not only alam mo paano gamitin yung media na yon, not only alam ninyo kung ano yung gustong iparating ng media na yon. It wants to sell you something, it wants to entertain you, it wants to sell you a product, it wants to inform you. Alam ninyo kung bakit siya ginagamit, paano siya gamitin, and dapat alam nyo rin kung sino ang gumawa ninyon at bakit siya ginawa. Sino ang gumawa at bakit siya ginawa. Sobrang dali na kasi natin na yon na gumawa ng media. Especially sa digital age. Dati, mahirap yan. Pag gusto mo magawa ng sarili mong show, kailangan mo pa ng deal sa isang recording studio, gagastos ka pa ng malaki para makapaggawa kayo ng mga single, sabihin na natin yung music video. Marami kayong kailangan na gawin para kayo ay makapag-start up. And kailangan nyo rin na sandamakmak na skills para magpagawa kayo ng media. Newspaper, you need to have the equipment, the materials for you to create your own newspaper. Dati yon. Kahit newsletter lang, mahirap din. Kasi kailangan nyo na ng sandamakmak na materials to spread it. Spread it. Letters, madaling gawin pero sobrang tagal makarating. TV, you need to pay a lot para lang mag-go on air kayo. Nowadays, sobrang dali na gumawa ng media. You can just set up an account sa Twitch. You can now become a streamer. Set up an account in YouTube at magaling yung editing skills ninyo, you can now become a YouTuber. You can now create videos. You can now create media. Gusto mo may kausap? Ayan. Meron kayong Messenger, meron kayong Instagram. Instant ang paggawa ninyo ng media. You want to share something, you want to share some news, gumawa kayo ng news headline, parang news site. Ayan ang Twitter, ayan ang Facebook. You can create yung parang sabihin na natin yung mga bantay community. Ikaw yung nagsasabi yung mga nangyayari sa community. Tapos doon yung ilalagay sa Facebook nila. Sobrang dali na gumawa ng Kaya tuloy, minsan, yung mga ginagawa nila, mga ginagawa natin, minsan hindi siya credible. We need to know, we need to know who created it and check if it's credible or not. Dahil sobrang dali nang gumawa ng media. Dapat alam ninyo sa sarili ninyo kung tama nga ba itong sinishare ko, tama ba itong ginagawa ninyo, at yung mga napapanood at mga nakakonsume ninyo, mga nakikita ninyo, check if they are credible or not. It is now a essential skill. Na yun, nasa digital age na tayo. And mamaya, kapag dating natin sa lab natin, we will see talaga how much media are we consuming in a week. How much media are we consuming in a week? Okay. Specifically, media literacy helps us with the following. Number 1, become a smart consumer of products and information. Now, paano ang ibig sabihin na smart consumer? We look at the product. We look at the information with a critical eye. Pinag-iisipan muna natin. Tinatanong muna natin ang sarili natin. Tinatanong muna natin sila if this is the right information or product for you. Marami kayong nakikita sa mga websites. Marami kayo nakikita sa websites, yung mga nag-advertise. YouTube pa lang na, sandamakmak na ang advertisements. Ginawa ng bagong television. Alam natin kung yung product ba na yun is makakatulong sa atin, gusto natin, or sadya talagang hindi. Take for example, diba kapag kayo ay bumibisit ng, let's just say, somewhat na sketchy na website, hindi natin maiwasan yun, diba? Minsan bumibisit tayo doon kasi kailangan natin maging kailangan meron tayo doon lang natin nahanap yung kailangan natin hanapin, yung somewhat yung mga pirated na mga videos, mga ginaganon, para mapanood natin without the use of Netflix and the like. Minsan, kapag kayo pumupunta sa mga sketchy na websites na yun, meron kayong makikita na ad. So, tingin ko nakita nyo na to, yung ad na to. Yung doctors hate him because he found a something cure. She looks 27 despite her age is 47 by using this simple trick. Banks hate him because of this exploit that he found. Diba yung mga ganun klase na mga advertisement na nakikita nyo doon sa sidebars ninyo? Obviously naman, hindi kayo mahuhulog doon. Why? Because you know that they are not true. We are now a smart consumer. Alam natin na ito ay obvious na link sa isang virus na website or not. We do not fall for them. Of course, dahil doon, we learn to think critically. Alam natin, tatanungin natin sa sarili mo natin kung kailangan ba natin to, tama ba to, or, makakasama ba to sa atin. We learn to think critically what is right and wrong for us. Next, recognize point of view. Nakikita natin sa mga media na ginagawa nila, sa media na nakokonsume natin, where they stand. Okay, where they stand. Kapag pinanood natin ang mga video, let's just say, yung mga nag-explain ng mga buhay nila, nagkikwento ng buhay nila, mga vlogs and the like, we recognize their point of view. Pag sila ay tinatamad, we recognize that they are sad. If they are over happy, minsan meron silang tinatago. Nakikita natin kung paano sila nagre-react doon sa mga nakikita natin. We now see how they act, how they carry themselves, because we are watching them, we are consuming their work. We recognize the struggles that they are going through the use of media literacy. And minsan, pag nare-recognize natin yung point of view nila, we can sometimes check if there are some biases. Okay? If there are some biases in their words. We're only human. Nagpe-favor tayo one way or another. Naglilin tayo in a certain side. Yun yung isa sa mga napansin ko na dito talagang natatawa ako dun sa recognized na point of view is yung yung debacle na nangyari dun sa ABS-CBN, yung nag-went off-air sila. May natatawa ako na video doon na sinare nila na kung saan meron silang sinare ng ABS-CBN kung saan may batang umiiyak. Dahil kasi daw na wala na raw yung may, siya sabihin na natin 4 years old. Umiiyak siya maigi kasi mag-go offline na raw, ang off-air na raw ang ABS-CBN. Pero ako, nung pinanood ko yun, natatawa na lang ako. Is, I know na may malang bata na matatalino, pero nung pinanood ko yung video na yun, natawa lang ako kasi umiiyak siya. Yes, malungkot. Matatag heartstrings ninyo kasi pinapanood niya ABS-CBN. Pero wala akong nakita na wala akong nakita na 4-year-old na bata na umiiyak tapos sinasabi na kasi babagsak na kasi mawawala na kasi ang ABS-CBN Hindi ko wala pa akong nakikita na bata na full on ABS-CBN straight up ang tawag niya doon sa television na yon. Parang meron yatang leaning doon Parang hindi ko na alam ko bata pero pag pag bata naalala ko Channel 2 ang sabi or TV straight up grade 4-year-old. Tapos siya habang naiyak diretsong babagsak na kasi ang ABS-CBN Parang may weird na point of view lang yun That's my take That's only my take. Natatawa lang ako doon sa situation. Okay? We recognize what they are looking at. Especially kapag documentary. Kapag documentaries, nakikita talaga natin yung mga nangyayari at nakikita nung creator. And minsan nagbibigay din sila ng sarili nilang opinion. Next. Create media responsibly. Of course, responsibly. Alam na natin, through media literacy, alam na natin kung ano yung tama sa mali. Alam na natin kung ano yung mga hindi dapat gawin. At yung mga ginagawa nila na nakakasama. Misinformation, disinformation. Kaya tuloy, we are now creating our media. We are now creating our media responsibly. YouTube videos natin, credible. The news that we share, they are truthful. And so on and so forth. Hindi tayo nagmi-mislead, hindi tayo nagsaspread ng disinformation. We're not trying to scam. We are creating our media responsibly. And if we made something wrong, at accidentally tayo nakapag-share ng misinformation, we own up to it. Hindi natin tayo magtatago, hindi tayo we apologize. And we are going to be making corrections. Because we are responsible for the media that we share. Okay. Just a second. Nag-alis muna ako kasi ang aking little brother naka-login ng Garena sa other account. Lumitaw tuloy. Okay. Next. Identify the role of media in our culture. Alam natin kung ano nga ba ang ginagawa ng media sa culture natin. Bad and good. Alam natin kung katulad na sinasabi ko, alam ninyo na ito ay nag-advertise. Alam ninyo na ito ay nag-entertain. Alam ninyo na ito ay for learning, for education. We identify the role of media in our culture. Not everything is bad. Media has connected every single one of us. Na-express natin ang sarili natin like never before. But we also need to recognize the dark side of media. Nandyan yung mga yung mga shady na scams, misinformation, disinformation, but we must not forget the good that media has done for us. Sometimes kasi, pag sinasabi kasi media, palaging bad eh. Huwag kakalimutan na meron ding silang good na ginagawa sa culture natin nowadays. And, of course, we need to understand yung influence na ginagawa ng media sa atin, and we need to make informed choices using the influence. Na-influence tayo ng media. Hindi natin talaga ito maiwasan. We can use the information that we get from the media, and then we can use the knowledge, the information that we take to make informed choices. Para alam natin palagi ano ang makakatulong na sa atin. Think critically when it comes to media. And last but not the least, information literacy. Now, information literacy, ito yung sinasabi ko na nakapaprocess kayo ng data and information na nakukuha ninyo. Now, ang importance ng information literacy is, number one, alam ninyo kung saan yung sources na relevant. Alam niyo saan nyo hahanapin yung mga sources na makakatulong sa inyo. Now, naalala ko, at feeling ko na pinagdaanan nito, during your early high school years, sabihin na natin grade 7, grade 8, may reporting kayo. Mayroon kayo reporting. Binigay sa inyo yung topic. Ang una nyong gagawin, search up yung topic, click yung unang link sa Google. Most likely Wikipedia yan. Copy and paste. Kung saan sa malamang, ginawa ninyo yun. Yung unang lumitaw sa Google search ninyo, or sa Yahoo search ninyo, or sa Bing search ninyo, yun ang kukunin ninyo, and that's the end of it. Tapos na yun, kapag sinulat nyo na at ginawa nyo na yung reporting, hindi nyo tuloy alam ano yung nilagay ninyo sa PowerPoint presentation ninyo. You need to check if that source that you're getting is relevant. Yun ang information literacy. Alam ninyo na yung kinuha ninyong source is makakatulong, is credible, truthful, and reliable. Next, you are able to classify the different forms of media to get that information. Alam ninyo kung anong klaseng media ang kailangan ninyo para makuha ninyo yung information. You want to learn about someone, you can read their autobiography. You can watch their documentary kapag meron. Alam ko si Jose Rizal, not only may biography yata siya, meron din siya ng documentaries. There's many of them. Pwede nyo basahin para makuha ninyo yung information ninyo. Pwede nyo panoodin to get that information. Hindi kayo maghahanap ng mga something na tungkol kay Jose Rizal sa Facebook. Unless na may fan club si Jose Rizal doon. Lahat meron fan club. Pati si Rizal. So, hindi nyo hanapin nyo sa Facebook, hindi nyo hanapin sa Twitter. Obviously naman, hanapin nyo siya kung anong klaseng media ang makakatulong sa inyo. YouTube, nandyan. Meron documentaries. You can search up their biography, their history, to get that substantial information. Alam ninyo kung anong klaseng media ang kailangan ninyo para makuha nyo yung information na yon. And last but not the least, aids in developing effective research skills. Nakakatulong siya sa research ninyo. Alam ninyo kung saan kukunin yung sources, yung relative literature, alam ninyo kung saan siya Buti na kayo eh. Meron kayong sample research. Alam ko you have research and writing. You can use information literacy on there. Para alam niyo yung sources niyo kung totoo ba sila, credible or hindi. You are able to think critically to see if this will work for you or not, or your research. Dati wala kami nan. Hindi ako naabutan ng K-12. I went to my thesis blind. Hindi ko alam kung ano talaga yung sa search up ko, ano yung gagawin ko. I had to learn the hard way. Buti kayo, may practice na kayo kung paano siya gagawin. Okay. Now we're going to be tackling the Media Information Design Framework. Now, madali lang siya. This framework allows us to determine or helps us to determine kung yung information na makukuha natin sa media of choice natin is going to be helpful or substantial to us. Example lang to. Okay. Let's make my class an example. So, ito yung class natin right now. So, who is my target audience? The target audience for me, ayusin ko muna to. Okay. Who is my target audience? The target audience of me is the students of Grace. Grace ba kayo? I believe you're Grace. Yeah, Grace kayo. Students of Grace. Yun yung intended audience ko. Or pwede din na hindi students of Grace. Pwede na maging generic. So, grade 11 IUCS students. Kasi yun yung gusto ko, yun yung intended audience ko sa mga lessons ko. Because you are my students. You are my class. So, there are the grade 11 IUCS students. Who is the creator? The producer? Me. So, sabihin na natin Sir Kaayaw. So, not only malalaman natin kung para saan nga ba to, yung intended audience. Let's just say, you're watching a movie. Hindi mo nagustuhan. Tatanungin mo tuloy sa sarili mo, ikaw ba nga talaga ang intended audience nila? If you did not like that movie, maybe, perhaps, you're not the intended audience. Maybe pambata siya and napilitan lang ikaw sumama. Or, they are for mature audience, kaya hindi mo tuloy na intindihan yung mga nangyayari. The target audience is the target of that media. Sila yung demographic na gusto nilang i-entertain, gusto nilang kapag hindi mo nagustuhan, maybe there's the chance that you are not their goal. Iba yung demographic na goal nila for that so that, well, you can just move on and find something that fits you. Next, sender, author. Sino nga ba ang gumawa ng media na to? Are they trustworthy? Meron ba silang history? Ano yung mga nagawa na nila? Sir Kaayaw, me, I've been teaching classes for almost 3 years now. 1 year nung 3 years na yon is straight up online. Straight up online. And I have been teaching from grade 3. Hindi pala from grade 3. I have experience teaching all of the levels ng education. I have taught from nursery all the way up to grade 12 at one point. So, meron na ako experience sa lahat ng mga, kulang na lang magturo ako ng college students. So, who is their sender? Who is their author? Sino yung sa inyo? Minsan dito sa creator, naalala niyo meron mga ilan sa mga YouTubers sa pinapanood natin, minsan sila yung naggagawa ng mga scams. Sila yung mga nagloloko ng mga fans. Malalaman agad natin kung meron na ba silang history or whatnot. If we check who is the author, who is the creator. Minsan kasi kapag ganon, alam na natin may history tong tao na to ng panloloko ng fans. So we will not believe him in his or her words. In his or her words, the next time na magsasabi siya or nagpa-promote siya ng product. Purpose. What purpose is this media for? Para saan nga ba tong purpose nito? Mine, it's for education, information, and communication. So, kasi ginagamit ko rin to para makapag-communicate sa inyo. We sometimes have back and forths. Ito yung purpose ng paggawa ko ng lessons. Is for you to be educated, to have information, and have communication. Kasi nagba-back and forth tayo. What are the key topics? What are the facts? Ito yung key content. Ito yung main na makukuha ninyo sa lesson ko. Main na nakukuha ninyo sa media na kinokonsume ninyo. What is the topic? What are the facts? The topic, definition of media and information literature. So, MIL na lang. Yun yung facts. Now, we are checking if this facts or content is useful to us. Dito natin malalaman yung sa key content. Form, style, paano niya pinaresent? Is it bombastic? Yung happy-go-lucky na talagang off the rails na pagtuturo? Or simple na lecture style, katulad ng ginagawa ko right now. So, sabihin na natin lecture style. Because I'm just talking, and you're listening to me. But, with the lecture style, how are you feeling as my audience? Ano yung nararamdaman ninyo? And right now, I think you are somewhat boring kapag hindi ka nagpe-pay attention. Because I'm just talking and talking. Wala akong bet sa ano. So, maybe, because of this, your attention span is somewhat limited. Because I'm just talking and talking, lecture lang on a lecture. How does it affect the audience? Maybe they are somewhat bored. Maybe they are somewhat or they are listening attentively. Pwede yon. And then last but not the least, ano nga ba yung platform na ginamit? Pag chinek natin tong platform and their medium, Google Meet, alam tuloy natin kung effective ba yung media na ginamit nila or hindi. Pag ginamit ko ba sa inyo is Google Docs, at nag-send lang ako sa inyo ng module, would that be more effective than just meeting with Google Meet and listening to my lesson? Or if I use Zoom, makakatulong ba ang Zoom sa akin? Mas madali ba yon compared to Google Meet? If I use streaming sites, YouTube or Twitch, tas tinirim ko na lang siya live, would that be a lot better? Or would that be a lot worse? Depending on the medium yon. Okay, that depends on the medium. To see if the medium I use would have affected my information or improved my information, improved on delivering the data to you. Listen ko to. Kasi gagamitin ko pa itong PowerPoint presentation na to. Okay, do you have any questions before we move on towards the lab? Any questions? Okay, wala naman. We're now moving on towards the lab. Okay, the lab na tayo. So, may naman tayong dalawang meetings every week. Napansin niyo dalawa synchronous natin. One synchronous is the lab, one synchronous is the lecture. So, lecture yung ginawa natin last week. This week, etong meeting natin, lab na tayo. Okay, lab na tayo. So, introduction to media literacy, the lab. Number 1, media use log. Number 2, ang next part na gagawin natin, we're going to have fun with this, the low-tech future. Okay, the low-tech future. Magagawa tayo ng some experiment. And then, once again, itatackle natin media and information design framework. We're going to be tackling this in preparation to your asynchronous. Okay, in preparation with your asynchronous. Now, your lesson objectives is that maging aware tayo with how much media are we consuming in a week. Magiging aware tayo talaga as, part of the generation of the digital age. Kung how much nga ba ang nako-consume natin every single week. Next, we are going to be aware. We are to be aware with the importance of technology today. Malalaman talaga natin how much are we reliant on that information today, and see if you're able to adapt to the changes if supposedly that information would disappear. And then last but not the least, we are to be aware with the media we are creating for others using the design framework. Okay, now let's get started. Now, ulitin ko, we, our generation is the most internet dependent, online dependent na generation ever. Natalo na natin millennial, natalo na rin natin ang mga yung generation after them or before them. We are consuming far more media compared to the two generations. We are now living in the digital age. Hindi natin experience ang mundo na walang technology. Hindi natin na-experience yon. Even sa kabataan natin, nandyan ang radyo, nandyan ang television, nandyan ang cellphone, kahit na yung brick 3210 pa lang. Na-experience na natin sila. And hindi natin nakita ang mundo na wala ito. We haven't experienced it. Nakikita niyo right now, 50% sa atin is hindi mabuhay hindi na walang YouTube. Napapansin natin na sobrang boring kapag wala yung YouTube natin. At least kahit background music, at least pang music. Minsan ang hirap punuin ng mga araw kapag naging down siya. 93% of you marunong nang gumamit ng PC. Kapag hindi kayo marunong right now, parang pag hindi kayo marunong right now, mabilis kayo matuto. You are confident with your ability to use technology. And napapansin nyo ba yon? Our schools is slowly changing. Dati, ako, nabutan ko pa at least. Dati ako, Cartolina, Manila paper pa. Ngayon, hindi pagpapasok ka na sa isang classroom, hindi maiiwasan ng projector, hindi maiiwasan ng laptop, hindi maiiwasan yung projector screen. Kung meron man, meron din kayong TV. Every single classroom, every single school meron ng computer lab na pwede nyo gamitin. Libraries, may mga computers na rin. Our schools is slowly changing to accommodate for the digital age. For us. And we are now so dependent on this. Napansin nyo din. Everything we do now is online. Everything literally everything na we can do online. Ngayon na, gusto na nga nila gumawa ng digital community eh. Metaverse, yung AR, we're slowly getting there. Na kung saan na talagang full on virtual reality na. VR chat, isa yon. Kung saan nakikipag-chat na tayo, we're just the VR technology. Kapag hangout na tayo ng kasama ng mga kaibigan natin, with just the VR lang. Everything we do now is online. Banking, ayan, online, Paymaya, PayPal. Banking yon, pera yon. Nakapagbayad na tayo, GCash. It's now online. It's now digital. Kailangan ba na sasakyan? Ayan ang angkas. Ayan ang Grab. Ayan ang Lyft. Ayan ang Uber. Hindi nyo na kailangan magpara ng taxi. Or ng Ayan na, may online na. Hindi nyo na nga kailangan lumabas ng bahay eh. Delivery. Ayan ang Grab. Ayan ang Foodpanda. Entertainment. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Hindi nyo na kailangan din lumabas para maganood ng movie dahil yan ang Netflix. Ano ba? Online. Games? Dati may arcade, ngayon wala na yun. Lahat ng games natin, nasa cellphone na, nasa computer na. Or kung meron man, may console tayo. Sports? Pwede na natin panoodin ng stream. Pwede na natin laruin ng esports. And bago kayo magsabi ng mga sports, paano po sir yung mga sports na katulad ng racing, ng mga cycling? Meron ng cyber cycling, meron ng cyber na racing, kung saan yung mga formula drivers na nag-move na ng formula racing na talagang gamit nila is, digital. Dahil kasi hindi sila pwede doon sa dahil sa coronavirus. It now migrated online. Everything we do is slowly transitioning online. And we are all for it. Super dependent na tayo. Kaya tuloy mahalaga ang media literacy sa atin. Because we are more exposed to the internet, especially sa social media. Tandaan, 4 hours every single day. 8 hours plus every single day na nakapag tayo, go online tayo. We are now more exposed sa social media, sa internet. Every day tayo gumagamit nun. And yeah, katulad na sinasabi ko, we are now the most internet-dependent generation. Kailangan na natin to. It is now a necessity. Napansin niyo ba? Kahit na lessons natin, it's now online. It's now using the internet. Kaya ako kayo na-reach. Kapag wala ito, mas nahirapan tayo doon sa new normal. Bakit? Kapag wala ito, hindi tayo makakapag face-to-face. Malulugi ang mga schools, malulugi kayo sa lessons, at maghahanap ng paraan talaga mga teachers para ma-reach kayo. Either straight up, 2 years kayo modular. Doon lang kayo sa bahay. 2 years na modular. Imagine mo yun. Doon ka lang sa bahay, nag-aaral lang kayo ng ganan. Ang mga teachers mahihirapan dahil kailangan talaga nila mag-house visit. Or kung hindi man pwede mag-house visit, tawagan kayo sa mga phones niyo para kamustahin kayo kung meron kayo. Pero wag magmamalit ng teacher dito sa kapag wala yung internet. Naghahanap talaga sila ng paraan. There's one seminar that I have joined kung saan dahil walang internet sa area nila, kasi province area. Wala masyadong wifi, wala masyadong connectivity online. So ang ginawa ng mga teachers, they broadcasted their lessons. Nagbigay lang sila ng time sa mga bata and they used the local radio station. Das doon sila nag-lesson. Nagbigay lang sila ng timetable sa bata at sila ay nag-broadcast ng kanilang lesson for all of them to hear using the radio. Minsan na gumagamit sila ng television. Binobroadcast nila, TV broadcast yung kanilang lessons. Once again, time lang ang kailangan nila. The effort that we go to adjust to the new normal. And last but not the least, okay, by the way, bago ko pala kahit tayo ang most internet-dependent generation, tayo din ang vanguard of technology use. We learn and we consume so much information na tayo na rin ang nag-move forward ng technology natin. We're striving towards the future. Napupush natin yung mga technologies natin to the limit. Bagong cellphones, nakikita ninyo, bagong-bago. New types of cars, electronic. Bagong mga pabilis na computers. And of course, new technology. Ngayon na nga AR and VR. We are slowly moving the technology forward. And we are slowly getting better and better and better. But, it comes with a cost. Dahil sobrang dami nating information na nakakain, we are also the most prone to fall victim to misinformation. Minsan yung mga nakikita natin doon, hindi natin, nakakain natin, nako-consume natin, is hindi pala totoo. Kaya tuloy, majority din sa time, tayo ang nagpa-fall prone sa misinformation and scams. The youth, of course, and the elderly, nung past generations. Dahil kasi, kung sa atin, we are consuming way too much information, kaya tayo nagpa-fall to misinformation. Ang elderly naman, they do not know how to use technology, kaya tuloy sila ay nagpa-prone sa misinformation as well. They do not know how to use it. And us, we use it too much. Kaya tuloy mahalaga ang media literacy sa atin so that we cannot spread misinformation and disinformation. We are so glued na sa mga ginagawa natin. Kaya gusto ko tuloy malaman. We're going to do a short exercise before we end our lesson today. We're going to have a short exercise. Gusto ko malaman kung gaano karaming mga bagay na nako-consume natin. Which is why we are going to have a weekly interaction log. Okay? We're going to have a log. So, ganito ang gagawin natin. I want you to open your notepad. Okay? Kung meron kayong notepad, I want you to open it up. Kung wala kayong notepad, you can use Google Docs. Kapag wala kayong Google Docs, you can open Word. Kapag wala kayo nung lahat na yon at ayaw nyo magbukas, you can use your notebooks. Okay? Ako rin, magbubukas din ako ng notepad. Okay. Now, I will give you 5 minutes to check. Okay? I will give you 5 minutes. So, 5 minutes tayo. 5 minutes. Timer. Now that we have 5 minutes, gusto ko i-log down nyo dito lahat ng ginawa ninyo na hours sa media consumption ninyo. Okay? So, timer starts now. Gusto kong ilagay ninyo dito how much time you have been spending with the following media. So, kunyari, YouTube ninyo, how many hours per week? Facebook, how many hours per week? Television, how many hours? So on and so forth. So let's try this now. Okay, how many hours are we spending with each? Someone, please mute yourself. May naririnig akong background music. Background noise. Thank you. Okay, let's get started. Let's see how much time are we spending. Now, obviously naman, top of my list, YouTube. How many hours I've been spending every week just watching YouTube? I think I'm going to be adding here 22 hours. Hindi naman 22 hours, sobra naman. 18 hours. Just time spent watching YouTube. Sobra, madami na yon. Na kasi, well, I'm listening every single time. Yes, Kay?
Per week po, sir, di ba?
Yes, per week. Week. Hindi per day. Okay? Sobrang naman ng 18 hours of YouTube per day. Ano yun, pati natutulog ka, meron na nakikinig ka pa na sa YouTube. I mean, mga ganon, diba? Yung sleeping na sounds para ma-relax kayo raw supposedly habang natutulog. Okay, work-related. Sa akin, work-related. So, nandito yung mga katulad ng Google Meet, ng Google Classroom, yung mga ginagamit ko sa trabaho, and meron akong 32 hours dito. Every single week. Kasama na yung meeting natin right now. So, yun yung kasama sa akin dito, yung media use ko. So, work-related. So, halo-halo yan. Meet, Docs, Drive, and so on. Ano pa ba ang nilalagay ko dito? Discord. Daldalan, dakdakan sa Discord. I am spending 8 hours there. Nakabukas lang siya minsan. Nakikinig ako sa mga usapan nila, nagpagdaldalan din ako, chat. Yun yung ginagamit ko besides Messenger. Ano ba? Online games. Online games ko, I'm spending 5 hours every day. Or every week pala. Naglalaro lang ako ng konti, then magpapahinga na ako. Meron ako tinatawag na site, Roll20. Dito naglalaro ng mga tabletop games, mga board games, kasama ng mga kasamahan ko sa Discord. So, I'm spending upwards to 12 hours per week there. Estimate. Okay. Ano pa? Facebook. Hindi ako nagpe-Facebook, pero nagkikinig ako sa mga webinars doon. So, 2 hours. Ano pa ba kaya ang pwede ko ilagay dito? Kapag kayo nagbabasa, yun, online reading, mga Wattpads ninyo, mga manga ninyo, mga webtoons ninyo, online Wattpads talaga. Online reading. I'm spending almost 5 hours din dito. Napapansin nyo ba? Nag-a-adapt na siya na nag-a-adapt. Parang padami na yata siya ng padami. Continue to think. What are you spending your time with? Every single week. And you notice that there's now starting to pile up. Parang padami yata sila ng padami ah. Okay, we only have 50 seconds left. 50 seconds. Ano ba ang spend time ko dito? Okay na to eh. Parang nakuha ko na to eh. Meron na akong Twitch, meron na. Nandito na majority sa akin. So, ito na yung akin. Ito na yung definitive list ko. Okay. 30 seconds for the rest. $20. Napapansin nyo na talaga, no? How much hours have you spending in ito, ano? Parang, it puts into perspective, ano? It really makes you realize how much we are reliant on that information alone. 3, 2, 1. Ayan, i-close ko na siya bago siya tumunog para hindi siya maingay. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you the following questions. Sagutin nyo na lang siya sa chat. Okay, I want you to answer it in the chat right here. Okay, number 1. Anong media ang pinakamadami nyong time? What media have you used the most? Okay, mine, kung hindi sama yung trabaho, I'm using YouTube the most. Because, well, entertaining lang sila kasi. Gusto ko na meron ako naririnig sa background while I'm working. Napaka-boring kasi ng trabaho. Education. 70 hours? Wow! Okay, other than that, other sa work-related at education natin, okay, obviously naman sila yung pinakamataas. What other media that we are using? Okay, let's go. Games. Manga. 74 hours? Oh, wow. Okay, sige. How about the others? How many hours? Yung pinakamataas ninyo. Go. Answer it in the chat right now. Okay, Netflix, 24 hours. Online games, 30 hours. Parang, online games, 72 hours. Aba? Brave, like Chrome, 32. Online reading, 84. Online reading, 40. Natatawa ako sa sarili ko. Parang rookie numbers pa pala ako ha. Parang lead pa ng akin ha. Compare sa inyo ba? 40 hours, 40 hours, 40 hours. Aba, okay, sige. 60, 40, 20, 80? Okay. 15, 17, 42, 20. 20 hours sa TikTok. YouTube, 40, 35. Okay, 55. 11. Aba, may ano pa, may limit pa. 33 minutes. 22 hours. Okay. Sobrang dami pala. Diba? Now, nako, we're running out of time pala. So, we're going to continue this later. Okay, we're going to be continuing this in another time. Pero, it really puts into perspective talaga how much time we are spending online. And now, we're going to be presenting you a scenario. Isasend ko to sa asynchronous time ninyo and sasagutan nyo siya. Okay? Ito yung gagawin natin sa asynchronous ninyo. And we're going to answer this on our next meeting. So, may isasend ako sa inyo ng written task on our synchronous tomorrow. Or kung kailan tayo magkakaroon ng asynchronous. We're going to be tackling a low technology future. Now, bibigay ko na yung scenario sa inyo bago kayo mag-leave. Okay, I'll give you the scenario before we leave. Alright. Let me conjure up the magic real quick, okay? Itatry ko talaga maging best na storyteller dito. Bago tayo mag-end. Tandaan ninyo, right now, we are the most internet-dependent generation. Nakikita ko yung hours ninyo. Sobrang daming hours yun, di ba? So, let's just say, it was a regular day. Kayo ay nanonood, kayo ay nakikinig sa mga lesson ninyo. You're doing the media that you're really enjoying, really enjoying. Then all of a sudden, walang warning, walang kahit ano. Nagkaroon ng malakas na solar flare ang sun. And tumama yung flare na yon sa Earth. Naging resulta, lahat ng electronics natin, lahat ng electricity, lahat ng power plants ay na-fried at nasira. Yung buong mundo is na-plunged into a blackout. lahat ng power plants, nuclear, hydroelectric, all completely down. Talagang na ano, pati yung mga electronic gadgets ninyo, because they are electricity, they also become fried. Nasira rin silang lahat. So, wala ng technology, or wala ng wala ng electronic gadgets, and wala na rin tayong electricity. Obviously naman, pag wala yung dalawa, wala rin ang internet natin. Then, nagkaroon ng ang away, nagkaroon ng gulo. Obviously naman, magra-riot ang mga tao. Ano ba ginagawa ng gobyerno? Ba't hindi tinutulungan tayo? Napakarami na nawala, napakarami ng negosyo na sisira dahil kasi doon sa ating sa kawalan ng kuryente, tas wala silang ginagawa at hindi nila alam ano yung ginagawa ng gobyerno. So nag-riot sila, nagkaguluhan, nagkaroon ng maraming labanan, kayo ay nakapagtago. Huwag kayong mag-alala. Ligtas kayo. Habang nagkagagulo ang buong Manila, ang buong Pilipinas, hindi lang yun, ang buong mundo ay nag-aaway. Dahil hindi nila maintindihan kung ano ang nangyayari. Ilang araw ang lumipas at natigil na, naawat na lahat. Natanggap na ng madlang people, ng tao, na wala na talaga silang magagawa. And nung lumabas kayo kung saan man kayo nagtago, nakita niyo yung mga buildings, mga bahay, mga is nasunog na. Nasira na ng mga away. Yung library ninyo na pinupuntahan nyo dati ng kabataan is naging abon na. At lahat ng other na media, katulad ng mga newspapers, ng mga magazines, mga ganyan na sites na lugar, is nasama din sa sunog, nasama din sa away. And now, you're looking out. Wala ng media, wala ng technology. Paano kaya kayo makaka-adapt sa bagong new normal of low technology future? How do you think you would be able to act? Now, I'll be sending the questions tomorrow, and let's see how are you able to react with such scenario. Okay, I'll be taking your final attendance, and thank you very much for joining this synchronous call, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, your 1 minute left. Nice na kayo. Go na kayo sa other section nyo bago pa malate ma-subject bago pa kayo malate. Okay, goodbye students. And thank you.
Bye, sir.
Goodbye.